Okay, so Doulos is a school that does expeditionary learning. So what they do is, instead of reading textbooks and doing tests, they do that, but they also do things out in the community, such as building chicken coops and helping build parts of their building. I also got to meet a ton of the different translators, so we got to compare our learning compared to theirs. And we also got to meet many of the kids. One of the parts that includes that is a group from Haiti actually came, one of their churches. So it's really cool to see how the Haitian church and the Dominican church both mixed throughout the community when it's not normally found here in the Dominican Republic.
Yeah, so from Harbacoa, where we stayed, it was about a 45-minute ride up there. And once we sort of got past the pavement, the majority of it was on a dirt road. Very, very bumpy. And once we actually got towards up there, it was very remote. And you could tell that the homes were not very nice. They were more poor up there. And once we actually got to the camp, all of the kids there's about 30 of them that came for the 2 days for us, and none of them spoke English. So it was a little harder to connect compared to Doulos, but we still connected really well with them. And yeah.
Hi, my name is Megan Welch. I just graduated from Lakeville North High School, and I will be attending Bradley University next year. Yeah, so before we went down, we chose 3 songs to kind of teach the kids throughout the week and to sing with them, and we chose the songs Everlasting Love, God is Listening, and Love the Lord Your God from Deuteronomy 6, 4, and 5. And it was really cool to see the kids, even though a lot of them didn't know English and didn't really understand what the song was talking about, to get all into it and do all of the actions and kind of hang out and just have fun with it and be open to learning new things. So on this trip I met a little boy who was actually one of the leader's grandsons. His name was Caleb, and he was 5 years old, and he was kind of my buddy all week. He actually wanted to hide in my backpack on the last day so he could spend some more time with me. And it was really cool because he did know a little English, but also his main language was Spanish. So it was cool to kind of interact and become really close with him, even though we kind of had a little bit of a language barrier. And I will never forget the time I spent with Caleb.
So I worked at the arts and crafts station in Angosto, and I saw God through one of the little girls named Gabriella, and she was 7, I think. And then when I was at the arts and crafts, so when she showed up, she ran up and gave me a big hug, and then wanted me to help her color in one of the worksheets that we were given. And I think it was, this one had like a big face, and then on the bottom there's a heart, and she colored in the heart gold and half red, because she said that the red represented God's love and the gold was just her favorite color. So that's how I saw God through the arts and crafts. So we went to Doulos the second half of our trip, and I was part of the games there. And it was just on this big basketball court, but there were some soccer nets on the side. And what ended up happening was that I was one of the goalies, and then all the little kids were just trying to score on me. So it happened to have like 10 kids all kicking soccer balls at me at once. So it was kind of hard to get them all, but it was still fun to see like their reactions when they did score, which happened a lot.
So one of the cool features about being here for a week is we got to experience a bunch of different foods. And one of the kind of on the more unique side of things is that today when we were at the waterfalls, our tour guide stopped about halfway through and asked us if we wanted to pick up a mango from the side of the path and just peel it and eat it.
One of the foods that is pretty popular down here is plantains. And I had heard of them, but I had never tried them. And the first time we had them was at the hotel for dinner one night, and throughout the week we had fried plantains, we had mashed plantains, we had baked plantains.
So before this trip, I heard the 3 words chicken, rice, and beans a lot. So coming down here, that's what I was expecting every single day, but actually we got those. Yes, we did go this every day, but we also got many varieties such as like pizza, hot dogs, like classic American foods, which is really nice. But even though like chicken, rice, and beans, they never got old. Like I still loved them every single time we had them. So.
Oh, the chicken, rice, and beans, we had a lot of it, but It was really good. Like, the Dominicans know what's going on with their chicken, rice, and beans. So, like, don't be scared of it, because it's really good.
Well, the first couple days we took buses, and we realized that a lot of the times when we were going uphill, he would have to turn off the air conditioning or turn off other parts of the bus in order to get up that certain hill. So the bus would move very slow, and it was considered Dominican time. So we had to be very patient, and I tended to get a little impatient. Another sort of transportation was up to Angosto, which was a VBS camp about 45 minutes away. And we took these things called people movers, which we basically sat on the back of a truck with wind blowing in our face, leaves coming into our face. It was just very different. It was very wild and kind of dangerous, but it was a cool experience to be a part of.
And it was really cool because the guy I was with made guitars and stuff. So I got to play guitar, and we all just like sat around playing worship songs, and they were singing in Spanish and we were singing in English, and they still like knew all the songs, so you could see that like faith like doesn't care like if you speak like English or Spanish or whatever, like it's a universal thing.
So when we went over to the host family visit, we were greeted and hugged, and they connected with us right away. And what was amazing was that even that there was that like kind of language barrier there, that we could still connect and like form that friendly bond and everything. And by the end of the night, we basically just were super friendly, and it feels like we had known each other for many years or something like that, and we were just like old friends. You can just see like God working in that community and seeing like how nice people can be, and with how much like stuff they didn't have, or like all the small space that they had, because they only lived in like an 8x8 foot house, and that was it. So I think that's just like kind of a big wake-up call for me to be more grateful for what I have.
I was expected to make an impact on these kids and somewhat kind of change their perspective on things, but I didn't realize how big of an impact they would have on us. I became closer to God more than I think I ever have before, and it made me realize that when I go home, I can make these changes in my life, and I can become a better person from what I learned from being here, and it created a new side of me that I never expected.
Based on everything that we've done this week with VBS and with the kids, after the fourth day, which was on Thursday, I kind of just took a second and tried to think of how I was feeling, and it was kind of a whole bunch of emotions. I couldn't really explain them. It was overwhelming. I felt very overwhelmed, but in a good way. And then I was so like full of joy and happiness and love that it was like bursting at the seams. And then I just felt so happy because I got to serve God's children and like see their faces and how much we connected with them. And then I was super sad because I didn't want to leave them. So it's just like, I still don't even know how to describe. Like, it's like all amazing things, so nothing bad, but I just don't have words for them yet.
But I am so glad I went, because I think this is one of the best things that could have happened to me at this point in my life, because it just showed me that no matter where I go in my life and no matter what I do, I will always have people surrounding me who have the same kind of faith that I do, and I will always have a community to lean back on if things ever get rough, because even down here where many things are different and not a lot of things are the same, we still became so close with all of these kids, and we still made such deep connections, not only with the kids down here but with the people around us, some that we knew and some that we had no clue who they were. So it was really cool, and I think this is going to stay with me for my whole entire life.
Before I came down here, lots of people would ask me what my purpose is for coming down here, and most of the time when they would ask me, I never really gave an answer because I didn't know what my exact purpose was. But after this week, I learned this saying from the Dominican Republic community, I am of the great I am. And that just that really hit me hard, because I realized that my purpose is I'm serving these kids and I'm making an impact on these kids as well as making an impact on myself to serve the man upstairs. And that's just like the best feeling I could ever have.
One of the really cool aspects of the Dominican Republic is they actually taught us how to do 3 different dances: bachata, salsa, and merengue. And I can't dance, not even a little bit. And so they tried to teach us during that session, especially at our Doulos camp. They tried to teach us how to dance, and I still couldn't do it. And they were all incredible at it, so it was kind of a funny experience for me, at least.
Yeah, it was really fun learning new dances that is like a tradition here and that they're really good at. So at the end, once we learned what they were good at, we finally got to dance to a song that we were good at. So they played the cha-cha slide that is really popular in the US, and that was really fun dancing that with them.
So a couple girls on the trip, including me, already knew how to salsa from our Spanish class. So it was kind of cool to be able to watch everyone else salsa and kind of teach them, but also learn it ourselves.
One of the cool options that we had is we got to go to a thing called 27 Waterfalls, which was a long stream of water throughout the community of Santiago. And we got to jump, slide, and basically do whatever we want throughout these whole waterfalls. And one of the coolest aspects is I actually went first for these, and I wasn't a big heights person. And then I saw these waterfalls, and I was like, I can do this. And God's been with me this whole week, and we can all do this.
So I was really skeptical about like coming on this trip and stuff. And then before we got here and when we were like leaving, everyone kept telling me like, oh, like have fun. This is gonna like change your life and it's gonna be like fantastic. And I was kind of like, okay, like whatever you say. And I didn't think that it would like really have that big of an impact on me. I thought like we'd cause an impact and like for the kids and stuff, but I didn't know that it would actually like touch me as much as it did. And like I'm for sure like a different person coming out of here than I was like before we got here, and like I have a whole new perspective on like the world and stuff like that.
I would just say step out of your comfort zone, dance crazy, sing loud, do whatever you can to make the kids feel welcome and to make them feel loved and special, and that they are a part of you guys and a part of God.
One advice I would give is to open yourself up to as many people as you can. So if that's all the kids of all age groups, all the translators, all the administration at Doulos and Angosto, be able to open yourself to everyone because they all have different stories that moved me and fascinated me.
I would say that you have to like remember that God sent you here for a reason, and like don't forget that while you're like caught in the moment or like feel unconfident about something, but like remember that like there's a reason that you're here.
Again, my advice would be keep an open mind, but in a different realm of taking it all in. Once I got here, I realized that it is different here, just the culture and like learning everything at camp and everything. But taking a second, taking it all in, makes it an even better experience.
I never knew that not only would the kids impact me, but the translators and the culture of the Dominican Republic completely changed my way of life and just taught me that there's so many more things that we can learn about ourselves, our faith, and about the world around us. And I learned that no matter like where we are, what culture we are, what language we speak, that there's something that we can do to change the world.